We're going to do a little story time over this working mom of one's Sunday reset slash day in my life as I am getting my shop ready to relaunch right before Mother's Day. I've been thinking a lot about timing lately with the relaunch of the shop, but also with how it represents how I became a mother. If you didn't already know, I had a miscarriage the first time I got pregnant. That was in January of 2022. Then comes Mother's Day of 2022, and I find out I'm pregnant again. My partner and I pretty much both knew we wanted to be one and done since before I got pregnant. Of course, we leave room for our minds to change in the future, and we may foster to adopt a child in the future since that hits so close to home for me. But your girl is not getting pregnant ever again. So with this having been the only time I was going to be pregnant, it meant a lot to have found out that not only was I pregnant with my rainbow baby, but I was pregnant and found out on Mother's Day. Fast forward to January 2023, my son was born, and I honestly struggled a lot with a lot of guilt, but not for the reason you might think. If you follow along on my journey, you're going to hear me talk a lot about women's rights and especially mothers' rights to paid leave and being an advocate for that.
Thank you for our food.
We're going to do today. During my pregnancy and postpartum, I was very fortunate to be working for a family owned business that was literally probably the best boss I'll ever have in my life. As wonderful and as accommodating as they were, unfortunately, when you work for small businesses, you just don't always get maternity leave. And I knew that going into this. I also knew that that meant my maternity leave would probably not be that long. I honestly have zero regrets about my maternity leave and how I handled it. I maybe wish it was a little bit longer, but I'm going to be honest with you, and this is where the guilt came in. I was itching to go back to work. And let me get something clear. The guilt wasn't telling me that I needed to be staying home. I knew I wanted to go back to work. I knew that's what I was meant to do. I knew I wanted to focus on my career. The guilt was from why am I so different and why don't I have this drive to want to stay home and be a stay-at-home mom? To make things worse is I didn't feel like I saw any other mothers talking about this or feeling this way on social media. It was all everyone feeling so sad that they couldn't stay home with their kid. And before you come for me, I'm a mom supporting moms. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I just didn't feel that way in that moment. So I kind of felt alone. For years before I got pregnant, I was not only a nanny, but also a daycare and preschool teacher. So I knew the benefits and I knew this was the right choice for me because I knew I could not only be a present mom, but I was not going to miss all these precious moments. Like everyone wants you to think that you are if you go back to work and you send your child to daycare. I knew I could still be a fully present mom, be the best damn mother that I ever could be, and still focus on my career. I knew that there was a way to balance all this. I just need to figure out how. And since there was no other inspiration that I could find for that, I said, screw it. I'm going to be that inspiration. And that's how Mother Berry was born. There was a lot of trial and error in the beginning. So this time around, I am moving slower and more intentionally. And I'm building with care, but not just for me, but for all of us moms. Because if there's one thing that I've learned throughout all of this, it's that slow progress is still progress. And even though I felt alone in the beginning and postpartum, I know that there's got to be other moms out there that feel the way that I do. I just have to do my best to find them.